Hey, this is Waylon from Swiftwood Bows, and I just want to do a quick little video here showing you how I do a thread wrap on a bow. I know I've got another video that I made about this a long time ago, but the quality wasn't very good, so I'm just going to go ahead and redo the video just to give you a better look at it. So here's the bow that I'm going to put a thread wrap on. I usually do thread wraps when I have a transition between some sort of skin backing um, and the bare wood. I don't like the way it looks, and there's always a possibility of it lifting off after a while from repeated bending and tension on the back. So I'm going to wrap it with some thread nice and tight, and we're going to soak it with some super glue. The thread that I typically use is just some Brownell number 4 nylon serving thread. You can get it from most traditional archery suppliers. You can really use a wide variety of things. Silk thread works well. It's a little bit finer. Cotton thread doesn't work very well. It's not very strong. And when you soak it with super glue or put finish on it, it gets all frizzy and fuzzy and doesn't look or feel good. Some people use artificial sinew. You could use real sinew. But I'm just going to use this serving thread. It works good and it looks good. So this is a really simple process. Got my spool of thread here. I'll just kind of let the spool fall down on the ground. So I've got my end that I need to work with. And the other thing that I'll need to have handy is just another short length of thread. I like to use bowstring material because it doesn't unravel or fray on me, and it's nice and thin and strong. You'll want something that's strong because you need to pull on it. So anyway, have that ready. And then just have some sort of knife ready to cut with. You'll also want a pair of pliers handy just to help pull things tight. Okay, I'm going to start by laying my thread over the bow with a little bit hanging off, a fair bit. And I'm going to take that loop of bowstring material or whatever you have, and I'm going to lay that under the string. The loop is going to be pointing towards the tip of the bow, and the tail ends are going to be pointing towards the handle. Now, I'm going to take this tail end here, kind of lay it that way, and I'm going to be crossing over that tail end. For the whole time that I'm doing this, I'm going to keep wrapping over top of it. You can't pull too tight here at first, otherwise you'll just pull it all undone. I like to keep a finger holding things in place the whole time, just in case there's a slip. Now I'm starting a little bit back up onto the skin. I'm just laying each new wrap down next to the one before it, careful not to cross over the one that I did before. I'm keeping a fair amount of tension, and as I go further along, I'm able to pull harder on it without risking pulling out what I've already done. So I'm just going nice and slow, paying attention as I go along, keeping a steady tension on it. Pressing everything into place so that there's no gaps. When I've got the band as wide as I want it, I'm going to hold it down tight here so that it doesn't come unraveled. I'm going to take my knife, cut the thread. Now I've got this loop here sticking out my leading edge, and I've got my leading end here. I'm going to tuck the leading end through the loop. And now I can take the two tail ends of that loop and pull my leading edge back through, and it'll be held down by all the wraps that I've done. I can kind of gently tuck it off to the side here so that it's looks good. Same with the trailing end that I started with in the beginning. It's now wrapped under all those as well. So it's sticking out my leading edge. My leading end is sticking out my starting edge, and I can really cinch down and pull those tight. Just give it one last check over to make sure there's no gaps or overlaps. Get everything looking just like you want it. And then you can take your knife and just carefully snip off your string sticking off. Careful not to cut your actual wrap. That looks good. Then I'll just take some thin super glue here, and I'm going to soak it, but not with too much. I don't want it getting all over my bow or pooling up. Just enough to soak the thread wrap and keep it in place. And that's it. Now I'll be able to continue finishing the bow. I can put the finish right over the thread wrap. It's going to look good, and it's going to hold down my skin. That's how you do a thread wrap. Thanks for watching.